Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog Podcast. Before I begin my review, I've got a quick question for you. You're all very well aware of my feelings towards new television Doctor Who. So here's my question, and feel free to reply to me on Blue Sky or directly contacting the show on the email. Or even using feedback on YouTube. Any of those, I'll see them. What do you think I should do? Should I, A, just suck it up and review the TV Doctor Who? You'll probably enjoy the rants. B, don't bother. Just do nice big finish like you've been doing, and it'll keep you nice and happy and not affect your mental health at all. Or C, review something nice like Max Headroom or The X-Files. Or D, something else, something of your choosing. Anyway, that's something I'm asking you to help me with. But what I'm talking about now is the rather marvellous Genesis of the Cybermen, released March 2025. Okay, this title was released March 2025, will be exclusively available to buy from the Big Finish website until the 30th of April, and then on general sale after this date. It's time for a synopsis. A king lies dying in his castle. His eldest son, Prince Sylvan, is an artist with no desire to inherit a kingdom, while Prince Dega toils in his laboratory, dedicated to saving the dying people from extinction. They will all burn unless he succeeds. When the TARDIS arrives, its crew believe they can help, but this is the planet Mondas, and this is Genesis of the Cybermen. It's one of the lost stories, I think, if I just have a quick look at my notes, 9.1, so God knows how many that is. The numbering system was always a bit spurious when it came to the lost stories. Ideally, the first digit should have been like the actual Doctor that was in the story, but then what would you do, Sharda? Was that an 8 or a 4? Or shall I just leave it? Let's leave it there, shall we, and discuss this. Couple of big pitfalls it could have fallen into. Pitfall number 1. It isn't spare parts. Yeah? Now, obviously, the Cyberman story that we've seen on TV, that one is a parallel world one, and they're this Pete's World Cybermen, the Cybus ones. Okay? But let's stick with the Our Universe version, the universe that's on TV version. This is a lost story. It was one that was suggested. It's one that apparently appears in the back of the big Cyberman book that everyone seems to have somewhere on their shelves, but they've never quite read it all. Some people have read the spine off it and have ended up having to replace it, but that's not important. What is important is that that's where this story is from. It's from a treatment or a quick short story from Jerry Davis, something that was pitched and was never made because they made Earthshock. So this is the fifth Doctor, Tegan, Nyssa, Adric, in a kind of almost parallel lines version of that. Now, the other pitfall it could have fallen into is that Genesis of the Daleks is a well-worn trope. No, let's not use the word trope, shall we? It's a well-worn release. You've got it on VHS. You've got it on CD. You've got it on tape. You've got it on LP. You've got the version that was the pitch document made from Big Finish as well. You've got all those versions. You've got the Target novelization. You've got so many versions of Genesis of the Daleks. It's coming out your ears. You've got it on Blu-ray. You've got the omnibus edition. You've got so much Genesis of the Daleks. It's in you. Now, the Cybermen, okay, let's look at the similarities here. You've got a race that's in trouble and is in danger of dying out, and you've got the solutions that are presented. In the Khaled case, you end up with racial purity, and you end up with the Daleks. You end up replacing your own race with the genetically modified offspring, and they become the Daleks. They end up in a big metal case. Cybermen, similar issues, but there's no war. The world is dying. Everybody's having trouble moving around. The life expectancy is getting shorter. But then you end up changing who you are, what you are in order to survive. It's just a matter of survival. That survival turns you into something else, something without emotions. They're both emotionless in a sense, although the Cybermen, of course, are more straight slaves to logic. See Destiny of the Daleks on that one. But anyway, you've got some similarities because you end up with metal casings helping the person on the inside to survive. The person on the inside is less than the organic creatures around them, but they can dominate them using their superior firepower. So in many senses they are the same. There is big Venn diagrams about what they are, but of course they've got different speaking voices. Some people have been kicking off on the internet about how these Cybermen don't sound like Sparky's Magic Piano. Well, there's a reason for that you do with this particular version of the Cybermen. And you won't like my response. The dodgy 10th Planet Cybermen sound rubbish on audio. Not only do they sound rubbish on audio, but you spend 20 minutes trying to work out what they're saying, as if you're watching Bane in Batman. Yes, I want a Batman. Yeah, that Bane. You will talk about that. And whenever they've been used in Big Finish, it's never really worked. So you need something that's got that going on, but something that's not quite... The moon-based voices are better, okay? The synthetic world. I mean, obviously there was something really scary about them just opening their jaw and then the words coming out and then them closing their jaw. That's just terrifying to watch on TV. Not so much to listen to on audio. So the choices of the voices is great. So we're now presented with this Genesis story, which is different. It is very different from Genesis of the Daleks. And it fits in really well with the other histories of the Earth, because let's look at it this way, okay? You've got Mondas and Earth, which are parallel worlds, which look exactly the same, yeah? I know. In opposite sides of the sun, and one of them has something goes wrong with it, which is apparently referred to here, and is what's causing the catastrophe. And I don't want to give you any more spoilers. Suffice to say that you've got a medieval society that has got a lot of science going on, now doing their best to try and survive. Nyssa helps, rabbit ears, and that's always going to go down well. The thing is, you've also got spare parts, which is the Big Finish Genesis of the Cyberman story, which is bloody terrifying and is, of course, a Christmas story. Not quite, but you know what I mean. It's got a Christmas tree in it. And it's great. It is down as one of the greatest of all times. But you know what? This puts in a damn fine performance. It shouldn't be as good, but it is. So much goes on in the first episode. So much is, well, just great about this. It's a genuinely, well, obviously it's a genuinely well-performed piece. But it also has some flashes of sort of the three who rule in the tower, that kind of thing, but there's only two of them. The way that the Cybermen are, but the Cybermen with emotions, with full-on emotions, all just works great. The bandages, you've got flashbacks, obviously, to the whole Capaldi Cybermen thing going on. It is a genuinely well-constructed piece that fits in with all of the narratives, including the Silurians Earth parallel thing, which are never mentioned, but it fits and it works great. All of those issues that you've spent months going, well, years of your life in the back of your head going, but if that's the case, how's this? What's going on then? So when does that happen? Does that affect them? And so on. Yes, it might not hang around particularly well with the comic strips, but that's fine. This is a lost story, a parallel universe thing. And as such, it's great. You can even replace spare parts if you want and have this as canon. It might interfere with accepting that Adric hasn't actually met the Cybermen in Earthshock, but that's a totally different set of headcanon that you'll have to deal with yourself, not on my time. Is it worth it? Absolutely. It's one of the strongest releases of the year so far. And this year is proving to be quite a set of strong releases. I would heartily recommend this. Because sometimes you go, oh, it's a lost story. Do I really need this? I don't know. We don't know what the next lost story is. But I, for one, now that we've got a Harry, really wouldn't mind Scratchman. While we've still got Tom, we could have that. Ooh. They must have thought of this. They must have suggested it. Anyway, that's not important. What is important is that this is really good. I mean, genuinely. Because the whole thing with the Cybermen, we are here to destroy you, you will be like us, and all of that, great. But here we've got a take on that's just different enough to justify its existence and different enough to be glorious. Give it a go. Seriously, give it a go. As always, here is the trailer. And until next time, be seeing you, but please consider what I've asked you. In all seriousness, should I even bother talking about Doctor Who on TV? Or do you need to hear the despair in my voice? Until next time, be seeing you.
Adric, you great flaming idiot!
It's not my fault. The Doctor gave me the coordinates.
Doctor, we must get the TARDIS back under control.
Thank you, Nissa. That's what I'm trying to do.
From Big Finish Productions, Doctor Who, The Lost Stories, Genesis of the Cybermen.
Our father's dying, Sylvan. Unless you've become an expert in bioelectronics overnight, then no, you can't help.
Please, Dega.
If you'd really cared about our future, you'd have learned something useful, but you didn't.
We should prepare for the worst, after all. It could be incredibly dangerous. Oh.
Bravo! Bravo! What a marvel! And look, the magic box has a magic man!
Yes, hello.
The boy, Adric, said your machine can see into the future. What will become of me? Will I be a good king?
There's only one way to find out, and that's to let your fate decide it for you. I will not show you the future.
Doctor, what's wrong? Adric, we crashed because there was a planet where we weren't expecting it, yes? So? We're on that planet right now, and it isn't Earth. I feel as though I've just walked over my own grave. This is Mondas, and we've got to leave now.
Intruders, stop. Who are you? Why are you here?
What are they, Doctor?
You will answer.
Cybermen.
Big Finish, for the love of stories.
That was the Tin Dog Podcast. Everything discussed is the intellectual property of others. No infringement is intended. If you've enjoyed this show via YouTube, please click like and subscribe. To contact the show, please email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk or follow the show on Blue Sky at tindogpodcast.bsky.social. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.